gonna press it again. Whoops.
Okay.
Now it's back on.
All right.
Wonderful. Well, we are live. Thank you for joining us again, Jason.
Oh, I was like talking to you, Nathan. It's a lot of fun.
It's always a privilege. Well, I thought today for our viewers, we could discuss meditation and monastery. Well, actually, it was your idea, Jason, which is a fantastic idea. Not a lot of people discuss it, as you mentioned before.
Well, I think that there's a lot more meditation that needs to be gotten done. People really don't understand meditation very much. They seem to think that that they can just do meditation a few times and master it, when sometimes it takes years really to get really good at it. I think there's a big misunderstanding of meditation in Christianity, in particular. They think that it's New Age or it's Buddhist, and it's not New Age at all. In fact, New Age isn't really new. Most New Age was started around the turn of the 19th century when Buddhism was brought to the United States by theosophists and other people. And there was a kind of a craze when some of the Tibetans came over. And it's really, people don't understand that it's a very, very old tradition, particularly within the Roman Catholic Church in their monasteries, but also the Greek Orthodox as well. And there was very notable mystics that introduced it. Uh, uh, Sister Adelaide, St. John of the Cross, and others. But generally, people fear it, and there's really nothing to fear. We Gnostics, though, I think use it as a predominant method of getting in direct contact with God through our personal spirit and contacting the Holy Spirit. And I have taught meditation in a variety of different ways. I've been meditating myself for over 30 years. And now that I'm heading up the monastery here within the Gnostic Catholic Union, uh, we're going to be talking about meditation even more. I generally use a format developed by the World Community for Christian Meditation, and that's a worldwide uh, activity. It's ecumenical in the United States. The person that heads it up is a Presbyterian minister, but it's predominantly run by a Catholic uh, priest who has some very interesting insights. And I recommend to everybody that they might wish to check out that website, the World Community for Christian Meditation. It doesn't cost anything to join. It's a good way to learn meditation and actually get involved with a very wonderful organization. If you sign up, you can also get daily messages that encourage meditation and talk about mysticism. Mysticism is something that really frightens a lot of people. They have mystics in all denominations, not just Buddhism, but you also have them in Islam. They're called Sufis. And people fear them, though, because they seem to think that we're weird because we meditate, and they seem to think that it's somewhat esoteric when it really isn't. In fact, everybody meditates. You go through a state of meditation as you're going to sleep. So it's nothing spooky. It's very, very normal. You know, when we go into a formal meditation, what we're trying to do is extend that period of sleep that we have, that stage of sleep that really is meditation. And there's always a continuous dialogue that we have. People think that it's crazy that you hear people talking to themselves. Well, they're not talking to themselves. They're just they're using the Bluetooth now and talking to people almost continuously because of our electronics. So when in the olden days when people were talking to themselves, that it kind of meant that you're crazy. But all of us have a continuous stream of thought that goes through our minds. And with meditation, what we're simply trying to do is quiet that down. In Christian meditation, what we're doing is we're trying to stop our thoughts so we can really listen very intently for the Spirit to communicate with us. It's not always, by words. In fact, if you start hearing voices all the time, that's a condition that's medical condition. It's called schizophrenia. If what we do is occasionally, in rare occasions, you'll sometimes hear the voice of Spirit saying very, very short things. I've had that happen on one occasion in my 30 years of meditation, where it felt almost as though God was speaking directly with me. And it wasn't a two-way conversation. It was a simple message that said, "Don't leave me out." It was quite profound. And so that's not the thing that really got me started. When I was younger, when I was 6 years old, I used to go and visit with my grandmother and my grandfather and had quite profound experiences. We'd sit out on the front porch and watch the cars go by. And it was the most peaceful thing in the world. They didn't speak, I didn't speak, and you just felt a certain warmth that was transmitted through amongst us just sitting. It was the most comfortable, comforting feeling in the world. And I think that that's really what meditation is in a Christian standpoint. When you're sitting together with other people, being quiet, and you feel kind of a force that goes through. And that force is kind of wonderful. It's kind of it's not really emotion. It's like a force, but not really a force that, you would get somebody pushing on you. It's just like a breeze, more or less. And that breeze is the Spirit touching each and every person. I've meditated about 7 years with a group of Quakers, and I really enjoyed that. They have silent meetings, and what their meeting is with each other, but also with God. And it's quite quaint. It was a wonderful group of people. They were sitting in a meeting house that was built about 100 years ago by Quakers that came down to the Gulf Coast of the United States, and they were kind of like missionaries. And they established a Quaker group down there and actually built the meeting house with their own hands, which I think really adds a kind of a touch of spirituality to the whole place. Anyway, I'm just chatting away, and I know there's some things that you do with meditation. You're a regular meditator as well, aren't you?
Yes, yes. And I love what you said about before with it's not an easy practice. It takes years to master it as well. And there's even days that the master's going to have days that he might struggle too to get into that zone. There's days I do as well. And I have to sit there and restart all over again. Right. But there's also other forms of meditation. Us simply chatting away, enjoying our time can be a form of meditation. Prayer as well. And I told this to other Christians that have approached me, that I said, isn't meditation harmful and opens us up to demons? I said, well, if that's true, it opens you up to angels too. It's a way of connecting with your inner essence within. I also bring up something that you also like to bring up too, and that's Jesus wandering in the desert, walking meditation as well. Being observant around your surroundings and reflecting is also a form of meditation. A prayer for something higher than you is also a form of meditation, and embracing with something higher is embracing with the Spirit. And not just this is a way of means of connecting with the Holy Spirit, a means of worship to God. It's what you make of it too. And I also see it as a way of really tapping into that inner essence that brings us our authenticity. Also opens up to love, which is the meaning of the spiritual path itself as well. And I also tell them about the ideas of churches, that it's not going to so much save you going to a church. Your home can be a church, your body can be a church, it can be your temple. The temple's what houses the Spirit. It's like what the Old Testament mentions with the temples being the house of God. So it's what lies within is the treasure.
Well, we're a temple, essentially. We're holding a piece of Spirit inside of ourselves. And I think that Gnostic Christianity really lends itself very well to the monastic type of movement. Most of our churches are quite small home churches. people like myself, I teach in the community. I teach at libraries, but I don't have a formal church. It's very difficult to build that. And I, question the relevance now of churches because we're, at least in the United States, less and less people are going to churches. I think COVID was an impact on that, but they're using the internet as a means of getting spiritual sustenance and community. I know of a couple of internet churches that are quite good. One's the current Michael Junkowski. He's a minister and he has a very unique format. But here in the Gnostic Catholic Union, we're getting together a monastery, and it's going to be very unique. People are going to be able to access myself as well as some of the other monks, and yeah, we're going to be doing some individual teaching. I have 2 monks right now that are developing the program, and I'm supervising them. They're very talented and wonderful individuals. We have a person that's developing a very, very complex monastic ritual, as well as a format for people to follow that are committed and they wish to actually celebrate religious practices 4 times a day or sometimes more, and develop a thorough meditation practice. These are people that are committed monks, and some are going to be ordained as priests as well. But what I like, and I'm very interested in, is developing a lay monastic track, because people are very busy nowadays. They can't go and just take time off for 10, even 15 minutes to do a ritual or a practice 4 or 5 times a day. They simply don't have time to do it. So I'm developing a lay track along with one of our monks, and I'm very interested in that because it's going to involve the study of the Gospel of Thomas, in which I'm very, very interested in, and the application of the Gospel of Thomas, as well as a meditation practice. But it's going to be less formal, and we're just going to have people meditate twice a day for about 10 minutes. But that's a big commitment nowadays, when people are traveling to and from their jobs, taking care of their families, and it can be difficult to take time out for God. Isn't that sad? People don't have time for God. God's available 24/7, like you and me. We're available 24/7 because the time zones. We're very fortunate here in the United States. It's a different day and it's a different time. I'll be going to bed shortly. It's going to be heading towards 9 o'clock. But you just got up,
Yeah.
so people will be able to contact us and get some feedback on their practice, get some teaching and things like that. So we're very fortunate. I think our monastery is going to be one that's going to be an internet monastery, not necessarily one that we're going to get a building and live together and do the things that people do that is most commonly thought in monasteries. But the Desert Fathers, back in 300 AD, they went to the desert to get by themselves so they could get in a continuous, constant contact with a higher power. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I've studied the sayings of the Desert Fathers and mothers too. There were women that went out into the desert as well, and that's where the monastic movement, at least within Christianity, really started. And once again, I don't think people realize that or know about that. And that's one of the reasons that we're talking about this today. I'm very fortunate to have been able to get some in-depth study here with the Gnostic Catholic Union, but also I went to another university for my doctorate in ministry. And I was predominantly, for 40 years, I was a psychotherapist. So this is kind of like a second career for me. So I'm really grateful to the Archbishop Thomas that he selected me for this position. And also, I'm doing the seminary now, and I hope to involve you as well as some of the other people that are involved here in the union, doing some teaching as well as going along with some of the students along their path to self-discovery and discovery of the spirit within. Just so grateful that you're here with us and the wonderful work that you do on the internet to do some teaching. I'm not as charismatic as you, I'm more introspective, but you certainly present the Gnostic Catholic Union and as well as the Gnostic movement uh, quite wonderfully. I've gotten so many people that have uh, asked me either on our Facebook sites about you and the work that you're doing. And the reason that they're there is because, well, I've been listening to some of Nathan's Facebook presentations, and that's really got me interested in Gnosticism. So you're really the outreach. Unfortunately, some of our other friends that Gnostic groups don't do quite as much as we're trying to do now. But I think that's because of the fact that we're not a huge denomination. We don't have a lot of funds, nor, I don't think we really need that. Some of the things that we're doing, I think it's better that we don't, because when you start involving money in religious activities, things get really complex really fast, and the accountability and the corruption that it brings. And I think that we're probably better off doing what we're doing in the way that we're doing it now. Although I expect as interest builds, there probably will be groups of people wanting to get together, and certainly we'll be able to educate them and doing a church, and the things that are involved in that, as well as spiritual direction, which I'm extremely interested in doing with people and assisting them to gain some of the knowledge that has been unfortunately deprived. They've been deprived of this inner spiritual knowledge, and that's why the work that you're doing is so important, because you have that ability just to reach out and touch these people in a very special way. And I think we're going to see more and more people become interested in really real Christianity, the Christianity that has not been taught, that was left out. Uh, we have some wonderful university professors that have written popular books that have talked about Gnosticism, but they're talking about it. They're studying it as though it's an intellectual curiosity, but they don't talk about applying it and the benefit that it can be in a person's life. And I know that for me, the Gospel of Thomas has been a very major impact upon me. I've studied Buddhism, and I worked with a Thai monk for about 3 years, studying more advanced meditation techniques. And it was an interesting experience for me, but it was sterile. And there was the particular Theravada Buddhism that is done in Thailand. Unfortunately, there isn't. They're atheists. They don't really believe that there is a God. And when I discovered and found the Gospel of Thomas, it just really it was like an explosion within, and being able to see that that there's a spirit within, not within us all. It's not just for priests, it's not just for monks, it's not just for the professional religious, but all people can contact this spirit directly. I'd like to think that I have some little impact on helping people to discover spirit, but the spirit does all the work. Mainly what I function, I'm like a midwife. I just assist the person to discover what they already know and what they already have experienced it. They may just not have thought about it. They may not have recognized it, or they may not have had some of the techniques that we use. or they may not have gotten the most that they could possibly get out of ritual. Ritual is also very important and can be very productive in a person's life. But I think we do a little better than some of the other Christian denominations of actually teaching how to contact that spirit. But nonetheless, uh, I just hope that people will listen to this presentation and kind of join us and reach out to us a little bit more individually so that we can assist them. And certainly there's no charge for the kind of spiritual direction that we do. I've talked with people over our the Facebook site in private messages. I've enjoyed doing that with several different people since we've had the sites up. So hopefully people will come and access our services in that way. But also, I'm really excited about the seminary, some of the things that we're doing now too. We have a couple of different tracks that we're developing. The doctorate and master of ministry track, as well as the more traditional master's degree, PhD, and the STL degree that we're offering. So I think that we're going to get even more involved with people. Before it was largely writing a lot of papers and things like that. But now we're, at least I'm trying to interact with people over the internet through messages, Zoom, in a variety of different ways to stimulate their readings and also clarify questions that they might have. We have an extensive list of readings that people can do, but also we're not always teaching like a more formal school would do. And we believe very strongly that the Spirit is the ultimate teacher. And so most of our coursework is very individualized with the person gaining that inner knowledge through the readings, but also experiencing God directly. That is the predominant thing that we do. That's what we do. That's who we are. We're not the experts. We're people that are facilitators. We encourage, we bring out that spirit, and then the spirit itself teaches. The spirit teaches far, far better than we could ever hope to do.
100%, 100%. That's the biggest thing about Gnosticism as well, and building a personal relationship with the spirit and building a personal spiritual relationship with God. Like you mentioned before, they would go out in the deserts to go meditate. They would fast. They would also go into caves, and those caves would be dedicated to old shrines. And this would be especially so when they were persecuted by the Romans. So again, building a personal relationship with God by their own means, by themselves, praying in private, like Jesus stated. And that's something us Gnostics like to encourage, that a lot of our Orthodox cousins, I guess, distant cousins that persecuted us, though not all, some did help defend us, but they've lacked that. They've lost that sort of meaning of private prayer. And I've actually discussed the private prayer with a couple of people, going in private and praying, and they've forgotten about this. And it's like, oh, I only pray at church. I'm like, do it alone. You get much more out of it. But we have 7 minutes and 40 seconds left on this chat, it seems. They've updated Zoom now, so I think you need the pro version to go for longer. So,
oh, okay, I didn't know that. So,
did I.
Once again, this has not been scripted. This is very informal, just a discussion between not just you and I, but anybody that wants to listen in. And I hope there'll be people that want to listen in and extend this discussion, not just thinking about it and contacting spirit, yes, but also actually reaching out to us through Facebook and a variety of other ways that we can assist them in this process. As I said, it's not easy to meditate, and it's not easy to have a direct contact with spirit. In the Bible, we see frequently people have had contact with spirit, and it can be quite an overwhelming experience. And unfortunately, as Jesus teaches us, priests and scribes have actually stood in the way of people experiencing spirit. And there's a reason for that, because it's such a powerful experience. It's so personal. It's so intimate that people have a hard time with that. And so that's why I think that many times ministers have, the particular ministers that have been in conscious contact with spirit, they think it may be too powerful, that people can't understand it, that they'll be afraid of it. And so they don't encourage that. And also, meditation can be like a little death. When you're stopping your thoughts, it can be a very frightening experience. Uh, when I was teaching in a library, I had a fundamentalist preacher approach me and was very angry that I was teaching Christian meditation. And he, like you referred to before, said that, oh, that's an entryway for the devil. And I said, oh my goodness, well, preacher, I don't think you ever sleep then, do you? If you fall asleep, well, the devil could take you over. No, that's not the way it works. So our internal spirit is too holy for something like that to occur. And as the Gospel of Mary teaches us, people are so hung up on sin. I was having a conversation with a Baptist minister just recently, and they're so hung up on sin. All they talk about is the devil. They don't talk much about love. They don't talk much about that. They try to make God fearsome and angry, hostile. Those are the things that people do. That's not what God does. God doesn't do those sorts of things. He doesn't do mean things to people. God's not mean. God doesn't hate you, and God doesn't hate me either. So I don't know why they go on and on like that. Personally, I have a very loving God. I have a very personal God. I have a God that wants to be with me. It's not Santa Claus. I don't get special privileges or anything like that because I'm a bishop or I got all these crazy degrees. No, I'm just a guy. But I'm a guy that tries to contact that spirit within and be with that spirit, because it's a very comforting feeling. It's a very wonderful feeling. And that's what Christian meditation should be and could be. But anyway, I digress a little bit and everything. I've really enjoyed, spending a little time with you today. I always enjoy our discussions. We talk a lot, I know, through private messages over the internet. We've been very, very fortunate to be involved a little bit in your education, but you came to us, and the Spirit is very, very present in you. And the Spirit talks to you in very special ways. So we're so very, very fortunate to have you as kind of the spokesperson for the Gnostic Catholic Union. Every time I hear your messages, I personally, get inspired to do more within my own community, within myself, and more here for the union. So I'm just, as I said, so grateful for this opportunity to sit and talk with you today. And
You, Jason.
hopefully,
Same here to you as well. I have a lot more free time now that I finished translating the Gospel of Mark. That took so much translation time, like translators and dictionaries and encyclopedias, because I was using two translators and an encyclopedia at the same time. Also, sometimes three translators, and it's hectic because I have to go by line. Took so much time, and then I was getting those headaches. It's only just stopped, so because I got used to these glasses.
well, being a scholar is a very, very difficult thing. I really appreciate your activities in scholarship, but I think that far more people need to actually hear what you have to say in application of Gnostic principles into their own life. I think that we're missing that. But I do the same thing. I get so much into the intellectual stuff and the writing and research and that sort of thing that I forget that people really need to know how to apply Gnostic principles to their own life on a daily basis. I'm going to be doing some writing here on the Facebook sites a little bit particularly about the Gospel of Thomas and how to use that on a daily basis, because I've been remiss in doing that with setting up some of the coursework and working within the seminary with the Archbishop Bill Thomas that I've neglected doing that on the internet, which I'm hopefully going to be able to have more time to do here in the future.
In times of necessity, especially when we live the lifestyles we do, it's a daily day. So it can take a lot of times, especially building with the spirit, as mentioned before. Not everyone has the time to do so. But we have a minute left of recording, Jason. So I'm thinking maybe we should end this one just in case.
Okay. Well, like I said, thank you so much for this opportunity to come and speak with you as well as our international audience. So I hope that more people take that opportunity to get in touch with us so we can discuss Gnostic Catholic practice.
That'd be beautiful. Many blessings, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our chat. Peace and love.